All right, I mean, this is just really an exciting week on my channel here because I know that I'm at my best when I am interviewing people. That's when I'm at my best on this channel. You know, that's something I'm good at, is interviewing people and just having casual conversations. I can't fix your car, I can't fix stuff around the house, but I can interview people and I can talk about hair loss and encourage you through my channel. So thanks for coming back and thank you for subscribing. That's how we had this support group. So, very special guest. With no further ado, this is my mom.
Hello.
All right, so
glad to be here.
Yes, and I think this is very important for this video that I have you here, because as I'm at my parents' house, I've come across many pictures from me when I was younger, and I've had people say, I want to see pictures of you when you were younger. So I've been doing that, age 21, 19, 23. I'm working on pictures from when I was a teenager. But I think it's interesting to look at pictures from when I was really young, because I believe there is possibly a theory that you can look back at your baby pictures and sort of get a grasp of how much hair you had when you were younger to predict how much hair you'll have when you're older. Now, some of you say, Nick, that's not right at all. That's not true at all. I believe it is. And that's okay. It's okay for us to disagree, right? But let's just check out these pictures. Before we do, though, before we get into the pictures, well, actually, no, let's go ahead and start with this picture, because I think this illustrates the story pretty well by showing this picture. Now, in this picture, how old am I in this picture?
6 weeks old.
So I'm 6 weeks old. This is 1981.
Yes.
Look at my hairline. Look at the hair, obviously much thinner on top. And so, as far as me being born with hair, I did have hair.
Yes, you had hair.
But I wasn't one of those babies that, like, here's this big baby boy and he's got a thick head of black hair. They didn't say that about me.
No,
I had hair, but it wasn't like just a mop on top of my hair like some people are born that way.
There were more like, you know, comments made like, oh, he looks like a little old man. You know, he's got that, you know, receding hairline already. And I was even told by some people that's kind of like a prime example when your baby, you know, has that bald ring like that. That's how their hair is going to be when they get older. And so I just thought, oh, really? I mean, you know, it's my baby, you know. You know, I didn't really, I wondered if it was true. Didn't really know.
And I wonder too, if this were to be studied, you know, I was 6 weeks old in this picture. And I wonder at what point, because like for example, and check this out, I know most of you don't have kids, most of you are younger than me, but when your child is 2 years old, you can double their height in inches, and that tells you how tall they'll be as a kid. Because my mom did it on me and my sister, and it ended up being right. So I think there's probably some kind of like formula that you could do to figure out, because like look at this, like this is less hair than I have now, right? I mean, obviously I've got hair here, but it's much thinner here. So this may be a glimpse of me when I'm, you know, 20 years from now. I don't know, but I want to look at several different pictures to just kind of, you know, explore that theory. Okay, tell me about this picture.
And this picture, you were about 6 months old.
6 months old. Okay,
yes.
Went from 6 months to 6 weeks to 6 months.
Yes.
We can see my hair is thicker on top now. We can still, though, see what I would call the equivalent of a receding hairline. It definitely goes up here. But I look at this and I think, okay, well, will that be me in 5 years? Again, there's got to be some kind of formula. But if this is me at 6 months, will this be me at 40? That very well could be. I don't know. All right, next picture. Tell me about this.
And this picture here, you were 1 year old.
Okay, so I was 1 year old here.
Yeah, you were one.
As I'm looking carefully, my hair is getting longer here, but still I'm seeing, like, I feel where my hairline was still going up here, and even with those bangs, it doesn't quite cover that up there. All right, this is probably maybe one of my favorite pictures for this video to show you. Let's talk about this picture.
And you were 11 and a half months old.
So I was nearly a year old here, and now compare that to me now. I mean, I feel kind of a similar hairline as far as how high it goes up. The hair is longer here, and I'm growing my hair out a little bit longer too, just to kind of see how that does. But I think maybe what we can see here, at least for me, is that me at age almost basically a year old is somewhat similar to me at age 35. I think there's some similarities there, because most people, when they see me, they don't say, oh, he's losing his hair, he's thin, he's going bald. That's not what most people see. But then I know the truth. I know how far my hairline goes up. I know that it's thinner up front. And I know back here there's some thinning. I know those things. Most people don't know this. So most people will look at this picture and they don't think, oh, this kid was bald. The kid's got hair. But I see the similarities. So if I'm going to gauge the formula, if I'm going to present this theory, at least for me, when I was about a year old, it was a prediction of how I would look at 35 and a half. That's my theory. That's what I'm going to go with. I got one more picture, and then we're going to close it out here. Don't tell me, I can't even see myself, but that's all right. This is interesting because it's from the side, and it just kind of shows, how old was I here?
And you were 6 months old there.
6 months old, okay.
Yes.
So it's funny though, because me at 6 months, is that going to be me at 45? I don't know. But it'd be really interesting to try to chart this out and figure out, okay, well, I was born, like, if we look at my newborn picture, would that be how I'll look when I die? If, let's say when I'm 80, would that be what I look like when I was newborn? But so we went from, there's got to be this parallel, I think. Has anybody ever looked into this? Is this on the internet? I don't know. Maybe I'm the first person to ever say it, but I think there's definitely a parallel. So here's the theory I'm presenting. At least for me, about age 1 is about a prediction of what I would look like at age 35. And then from there, from that age 1, we're going to go back in age, reverse in age. So if we look back to when I was, like I said, 6 months, is that me when I'm 55? Is that me when I'm 60? I don't know yet. I guess I can track the progress, and years from now we can know. But that's the theory I want to present. Tell me your thoughts on that theory before we go. While I got my mom's story, and we're going to do another video later about pumpkin seed oil and rosemary oil, and as far as a way to retain hair. But before we do, I want to address the fact, and I'm trying to have my uncle on here, which is one of her brothers here, maybe tomorrow or the next day. I want to talk about the fact that, you know, I'll have guys email me and they'll say, okay, Nick, I have both of my grandfathers still have full head of hair. Do you think I'm okay? Because I start to see my hairline go up. And the honest answer is, I don't know. It doesn't matter. Ultimately, in the end, you can have, all the men have full heads of hair and you go bald. Just like everyone could have brown hair. And it looks like my daughter might be a redhead. Her hair's starting to come in. Where'd that come from? You never know with genetics. So you can't really put too much stock in that. It could go a lot better or worse than you think. But at least, and as far as my family tree goes, with my mom's side of the family, so you have 3 brothers, they're all around age 60, and I would say they have full heads of hair.
Yes.
All of them, all 3 of them. And I'm going to try to get one of them for an interview here in the next day or so before I go.
And we were all born with a full head of hair.
Okay.
I mean, all of us just really, really head full of hair. Yes, covering every part of our head.
Yeah.
We were very, very hairy.
Yeah.
But then, you know, while you were growing up, I always had heard, oh, you know, all the men in our family, you know, are going to lose their hair, and so there was just always a
you heard that on your side of the family?
On your daddy's side of the family.
Yeah. You see, and
I always heard that. Never an issue, you know, on my side of the family. Either side, no one talked about hair or whose hair, if it was getting thin, but it's a real big deal on the Shell side.
So basically it was, and I think
receding hairlines, which you always heard. You go to a family reunion, receding hairline, he's going to have the receding hairline.
Yeah, I mean, I said in a video a couple weeks ago that my grandmother on that side was the first to acknowledge that I had a hairline that was receding. That was the first person who ever brought it up. Because people don't typically go around saying, hey, you're losing your hair. Typically, that's not how it works. But on that side of the family where that culturally, it's expected for you to lose your hair, just a matter of when, because that's the expectation, I think that helped me to not freak out when I noticed it happen. I was like, this was always my fate. I always knew this would happen. I'm just amazed I've got this much hair at age 35. That's actually the amazing thing. But, so on one side of the family, men keep their hair completely perfect. They don't lose any hair. And on the other side, really, I don't know that anyone gets older in age and still keeps their hair. So I'm probably falling more on that side. But again, it's not a problem. I'm expecting that. The thing you can't do is freak out about it and be anxious about it, especially when you know that that's normal for American men of European descent. And I think that's proven through my mom's ethnicity, which I've probably mentioned at some point. But my mom's half Mexican and half Italian. And while Mexican is not so much European, there's European blood in there, Italian is European. And I've seen plenty of Italian men that are bald, but on that Italian strain with the Mexican, it just produced men that keep their hair. So it's on my dad's side of the family that we're average. We don't go bald by the time we're 25, but by the time, you know, we're 35, this does start happening, and that's normal. But I just consider myself lucky. I was geared for the worst based on knowing they talked about that and knowing what I saw. So, I mean, I'm not disappointed. I'm actually just grateful that I have what I still have.
Yeah, I always thought, wow, why is it such a big deal? I mean, it's my son. If he loses all of his hair, I'm still going to love him. I'm still going to love him. It's going to be fine. I mean, it's not going to matter. It's not going to matter. Of course, sure, you want to try to keep it if you can, but, you know, it's fine. It's fine. It doesn't matter in family. You love your family.
Yeah, and I did a video a couple months ago. I said, the people that you love and that love you, they don't care about your hair.
Yes.
They don't care about your hair.
Yes.
And it's funny that we would have any anxiety about hair loss, as if, well, how is this going to affect my life? How will I not be able to get ahead in life? You know, the pretty girl won't go out with me, or I won't get the job promotion, or I can't have confidence, or I'm going to look ugly. All of these things. Now let's compare that to people who love you and people who you love. Okay? Do they care about your hair?
Not a bit. Not a bit.
And same thing
I'm just
goes...
so thankful to have my son. If he loses all of his hair, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I'm so thankful to have him.
So that goes for my mom. It goes for my wife. You've already seen the interviews with her. She could care less about my hair. And I know it's easy to say, well, Nick, that doesn't count. Yes, it does. And it's not just family, and it's not just the family you marry into and you marry. It's also about the friends that care the most about you. They don't care about your hair either. So why are we putting stock in what people think about our hair? Why are we letting it cause anxiety in our life?
Yes.
When what actually matters, the people who actually would judge us the most, who would be our closest friends and family, their judgment of us probably matters the most by effect, and it should, compared to some random stranger. Who cares what some random stranger says, right? It's easy to care more about what people who are close to you say, right? And they don't care. So the people that have the most influence of you and you put the most stock in, they don't care. So this was unscripted. I didn't know this was going to happen.
Yeah,
we were just going to talk about
I
pictures.
didn't know this was going to happen.
But I'm very grateful to have my mom on here. I think it's very important because she expected this. She knew that this was something people were talking about and other people were putting value on as if it matters. So we've been kind of able to track this. So there we go. So what have we learned in this 13-minute video? That I have a theory, at least for me, around age 1, it's a reflection of what I look like at 35 as far as hair goes. We've also obviously put it out there that on one side of the family, men have perfect hair. On the other, they don't go bald, but they lose their hair, their receding hairlines and that sort of thing. And ultimately, even if you have perfect genetics, there's no guarantee of if you'll go bald, and maybe at any age you could start losing your hair. You could be 60 and then start losing your hair. It does happen. So to put faith in your hair is not good. Hair is not a good investment for you. That's what I always say. Invest in believing in yourself and having ambition and gaining skills, education, being confident, being kind. Those are what makes you a man. That's what masculinity is about. Masculinity is not about your hair. And if anything, I would argue that losing your hair is quite a masculine trait to begin with. That's just like having a beard. And those go hand in hand. The more likely, I've seen this, the more likely you are to go bald, the more likely you have a good thick beard. Which I could grow a full beard by the age of 16. So if you can grow a beard and you're 16, even if you don't see any hair loss, I'm just being honest with you, that might mean that's your future. So we've learned a lot from this. Very grateful to have my mom here. Thanks so much for watching this video.